Patrice Natwami. Yes, please forgive my voice. I've been a bit under the weather. Today, I'd like to talk about advanced instructional design, my reflections, what I thought about the course, what I liked, and maybe even some of the things I struggled with. What I most enjoyed was the discussion board because I got to meet people like you, share ideas, and know that they're wonderful, awesome, talented people that I will have the privilege to be associated with. Today I will try to break this video down into several parts. I will of course talk about lesson design 1, 2, and 3 because it's required. And then I like to talk about some of my favorite things like the video, Loving Caramel Brownies, the job aid, and also the sports poster. I enjoyed a lot of things. I enjoyed meeting you. So, if you would, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. And again, thank you for joining and celebrating with me. Creating the instructional video was one of my favorite assignments. Video is dear and near to my heart because I understand that with video in a classroom and implemented the right way, that students retain more information. They understand concepts more rapidly and they're more enthusiastic about what they're doing. For me, instructional videos have always been a way to break down barriers. It allows you to take students on field trips around the globe. Let them get on the bullet train in Tokyo or enjoy a play, a musical, and talk about the concept. But not only that, history. That's the making of history with video, sound, audio. Instead of bringing history out of a book, why not bring history into a room with video? I really enjoyed that assignment. Truly, it was educationally worthy.
And now, our result. Doesn't that look wonderful? Fantastic. Mission completed.
My next favorite assignment was the job aid. We began to talk about architecture design with Dr. Andy Gibbons. Dr. Curry remarked that he was one of the smartest men he knew. And since Dr. Curry is pretty smart, I felt this guy must be brilliant. With this assignment, I had creativity and innovation. We were to create a one-page job aid on the rule of APA documentation. This was power-packed. It had instructions, images, and documentation. And for me, an appreciation for self-expression. I call this a lesson well learned and appreciated. This has to be one of my favorite assignments, the sports poster. I learned so much. Yes, I also learned about the power of words and pictures coming together to bring about a better understanding and comprehension. But I also learned about why football is so popular. I was able to spout out a few facts, and now I'm kind of welcome to the Super Bowl games. So that assignment served me in two ways, from an educational standpoint and a social one as well.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder.
So I talked about some of the things that I really enjoyed. And now I want to talk to you about the redesign lesson 1, 2, and 3. First, it started off with the instruction we wanted to design. For me, I've been a Microsoft trainer for a long time, so I figured this process would be pretty easy. I would do time-saving tips and tricks in Microsoft Office. Simple exercise. Simply take some clip art and remove its background. So it was kind of a step-by-step process. And though I thought it was pretty easy in the redesign, it wasn't as easy as I thought. There were some things that I hadn't thought about that could make this so much better. We begin to look at architecture instruction theory. And looking at this theory, there are layers that must be considered. There's a content layer, a strategy layer, a management data layer, and the list goes on and on. But what I did in this redesign was that in these layers, I can put in other things that would really add to the lesson, like audio. Had never thought about that. For me, I was standing in the classroom on the board, giving instructions, or with the LCD projector, kind of giving step-by-step information. But what if a learner didn't learn that particular way well? Not saying learning styles, but their strengths. That's right. Their strength might be auditory. And then I thought about, what if someone needed to see it over and over and over again? Well, in the redesign, I added video. And not only that, an electronic manual. These were great ideas. They didn't come about by itself, but looking at that redesign, looking at those theories that says these are layers of things that need to be included. When these things are included, then the learning begins. Let's take a look at some of the things I've added, and let's take a look at some of the other designs. I really like elaboration theory of instruction. For me, it was kind of the best fit with the lesson that I wanted to present, which is Microsoft Office time-saving tips and tricks using graphics and multimedia correctly. Basically, the end result for my exercise would be modifying a clip art image by cropping it and adding to its background, or removing from its background, but going from simple to complex. And that's why this theory fits in so well. Here we find some sequencing. In sequencing, there are two fundamental types of sequencing. There's topical sequencing and spiral sequencing. For me, topical sequencing was the best choice. It is a topic or a task that is taught to whatever depth of understanding or competence is required before moving on to the next step by step, which for me sounded very good. Also, in this theory we found summary, synthesis, analogies, cognitive strategy, and learner control. These are all the things that we had to look at in order to kind of match up this theory with my subject of Microsoft Office time-saving tips and tricks. I think it came out as a pretty good lesson, and I was able to make some changes, at least the necessary changes that would make the lesson better. The last redesign I chose for my theory, multiple approaches of understanding. I was kind of intrigued about the intelligence project that we did, so I thought I would dig a little bit deeper. And as I went through all the theories, I thought this just might work with what I plan to do with time-saving tips and tricks. The great thing about this and the strengths is that you have different approaches that you can use, and it seems to kind of give you not necessarily an open-ended sense, but one where you're not necessarily confined to just one. You have those, well, as it says, multiple approaches. There are some principles that go along with this theory. Several intelligence, such as linguistics intelligence, musical intelligence, logical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal functioning. And so, with that said, again, there are a lot of different approaches. For me, I was more intrigued with spatial intelligence because it is the ability to draw accurate conclusions from observing a three-dimensional 3D environment. I enjoyed that because I was able to take Microsoft Office and draw a 3D shape and actually see it being manipulated by using the different figures in just Microsoft Word. So for me, I thought that would be a really good lesson to use with Microsoft Office. The linguistics intelligence, which of course is one of Gardner's intelligence, involves a strong ability to understand and use spoken and written language. This can include the ability to express oneself effectively through speech or written word. Not what I'm doing very well today, but getting through the project because this is really dear and near to my heart. And for me, the redesign worked well. I thought it would be good for students to connect from different types of their strengths. My strongest strength would have been the music intelligence, where we talk about the capacity to discern pitch, rhyme, tempo, and tone. I want to take the opportunity to say thank you for tolerating my voice, dealing with kind of my insight of my theories and my thoughts. I don't necessarily agree with what everybody says, but thus far in this course, I do agree. I've learned a lot. I've enjoyed a lot of the assignments. I've struggled through some, but all in all, I've learned from everything that I've done. I am the last person that would say 15 minutes is a long time for video or for talking or for anything of that nature, but being sick and not having much breath or voice, it is a different viewpoint for me. But again, I just want to kind of go back over some things, and again, thank you very much for dealing with my voice today. I know it's probably hard to hear me and probably even harder to decipher what I'm saying. But again, I really enjoyed the job aid. I thought it was very, very useful because I think graphics are important. I think words are powerful. And when they come together, it has to be a message that's necessary. I'd never done a project of that nature, so for me it was a learning process. I've done graphics, I've used Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, you name it. I've used it. I even used Clerk when I was working at a newspaper at some point in time, early in life. So thank you, Dr. Curry. Thank you, Say Anything. Thank you, classmates.